Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. You know, women's boxing has clearly come a long way since Jane Couch had to take the board to court just to get a professional license. Because today, on King Charles III's coronation day, there was another coronation, which is the first ever female British champion, and her name is Lauren Price. She beat Kirstie Bavington, actually whitewashed her unanimously over 10-2s. 100 to 90 were on all three cards, and Lauren Price from Wales becomes the first ever British women's champ. And good luck to the girl, you know. She's a welterweight. This was her fourth pro fight. She moves to 4 wins, no defeats, no draws, 1 by stoppage. Kirstie Bavington is now 7 wins with 2 stoppages, 4 defeats, all on points and 2 draws. And, you know, the sort of knock against, or if you like, the argument against having British titles for women is that it just wasn't the depth. And to be honest, there isn't the depth. There isn't the depth in women's world boxing. But that's not to say that you don't get good fights. Do you know what I mean? And the constant comparisons with the women's game and the men's game, I don't think is fair, because, you know, this is a new code, if you like, and the women are doing their thing and building, you know, at an exponential rate when you consider what women's boxing was. Certainly in my lifetime, I mean, early, it was unthinkable when I was a kid. You know, you'd laugh if someone said, "Oh, female boxers." You'd think it was some sort of gimmick or a joke, or, you know, what they used to call foxy boxing, which was 2 topless birds going at it, you know, usually rolling around in mud or jelly or something. But now it's a bit different. They are proper athletes, proper fighters. But yeah, the depth is lacking. You know, let's not pretend otherwise. Let's not lie. But, you know, I mean, this wasn't a particularly entertaining fight because it was so one-sided. And that's going to be the knock against British title fights, because they're just, you know, let's say Lauren wants to go for the Lonsdale belt. So she needs another, what is it 3 these days? You know, you used to win the title and then make 2 defences and you keep the belt. Now I think you've got to make 3 defences. Who's she going to fight? There isn't anyone. Although there are fighters who could probably go to welterweight, but they're not going to be any great shakes at all. And, you know, you might as well give her the belt. I remember Charlie Magri being given a British flyweight Lonsdale belt, and he never defended it. It was given to him as a sort of, it's almost like an honorary Oscar, because there just weren't the men's flyweights back in the day when Magri won his WBC world title. Prior to that, he was British champ, and, you know, he had no one to face. So they said, "I'll go and have a Lonsdale belt anyway." They might end up doing this with the women, but anyway, all of this is speculation. The women's game is growing, and that's good to see. And this wasn't an exciting fight. It was too one-sided. Lauren was God knows how many levels above Kirstie. Kirstie, a good, honest pro, tries her heart out, 30 years of age, gives it large. Actually, Kirstie's last fight was against Candy Wyatt, who is this absolute lunatic of a fighter. If you've ever seen Candy Wyatt fight, I think she's from Canada, and she just tears after the opponents. And she got stopped in 7 rounds by Jessica McCaskill back in 2021. It was absolute lunatic style where she just throws herself forward. McCaskill dealt with her, but very, very entertaining fighter to watch. Well, she beat Kirstie Bavington over 10 rounds. It was a split decision. It's actually in England and not Canada. So that was Kirstie's last fight. And prior to that, she did take Naomi Mann's unbeaten record over 10. And that was for the EBU European welterweight title. So she's held the welterweight title, but she was completely whitewashed by Lauren Price in the British title fight. She's also beat April Hunter, who was undefeated as well, over 6 rounds. And April's now trained by Peter Fury. She's good friends with Savannah Marshall. So she's got a couple of good wins on her record, decent wins. But again, at the end of the fight, her nose was blooded. You know, she couldn't get near Lauren. Lauren controlled the range. Lauren has, you know, that schooling, amateur schooling. She's a southpaw. She's Olympian. Just a very, very technically good fighter, and Bavington had no answer for her. But Lauren didn't come close to flooring Kirstie. And this might be a knock against Lauren, that she doesn't have a great deal of power. But, you know, you don't need to knock them out if you just outbox them for every minute of every round. And that's what happened. And afterwards, you know, both women were very respectful of each other. They made a little bit of history, of course. They're in the record books. First ever British women's title fight. But there's no doubt who was the winner of every minute of every round, and that was Lauren Price. Where to next? I can't see Lauren making defences of the belt. I think she'll probably move up. And at least Kirstie can say I was EBU champ. She's 30 years old now, Kirstie, which is 2 years older than Lauren. But you know, good luck to them. Women's boxing is growing. I think that's a really good thing. And we have had some terrific women's fights in the past. This just wasn't one of them. So if you've got any comments, leave them below. What do you think of women's boxing all in all? Do you think it's making progress? Do you think? Don't compare it to the men's. I'm not really interested in that argument because I think it's a facile argument. I'm interested in where you think women's boxing's going. Give me your opinions on that. You know, when you consider like men's tennis and women's tennis and how women's tennis evolved, you know, do you see the depth of talent evolving in women's boxing? I'm interested in all this stuff because it's like history unraveling it before our eyes, so to speak. Especially for someone like me, I've seen a lot of history just boxing history over the last 45 years, whatever. And it's always interesting, to see where it's going. So I'll leave your comments below if you got any about the fighters, about women's boxing in general. Thanks for your time as always, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the subscribe button. It takes a second. What harm can it do? And like the video as well if you liked it. We'll speak again soon. Bye-bye for now.